Hey, Mr. Klein here again. I'm going to show you now how to make a histogram using your calculator. Anytime you are plotting graphs on your calculator, the first thing that you need to go do is go to y equals. And if there's anything typed in there, like say a function, you want to clear that out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit stat plot, which is in the upper left-hand corner. And you're going to look at those stat plots and you should see that they are off. One of mine is on. If it was in this position, you want to change it to that position. It's telling the calculator that you want to make your histogram. And then you get a bunch of icons here. You want to choose the one that looks like a histogram. And you want to make sure that your X list says L1. Once you've got that, you want to hit the zoom button, which is in the middle of the top menu, and groove on down to number 9, which says zoom stat. What zoom stat is going to do is work out what the display window should be so that you can see your histogram. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and I get a histogram. And that histogram is kind of going to have funky bin widths on it. If you want to fix that, and you do, you're going to hit window, and then you're going to make an adjustment here. So I'm going to say I want to start at 64, I'm going to finish at 78, and I want to move by units of 2. That's what that X scale means. It means how wide the bin should be. So this means that our bins will go 64 plus 2 to 66, plus 2 to 68, and so on. Then I'm going to go back and hit graph again. And now, if you hit the trace button, it'll tell you what you're looking at. So this is telling us that first bin runs from values of 64 up to 66, and that there's one value in that range, one in the next range, none in the third, and 7 in the fourth. Okay, so that's how you make a histogram. Now let's suppose, I'm going to go back to the data here, so I hit stat and edit. That list 1 is scores in the first round of the US Open, and list 2 is scores in the second round, and I want a histogram for the sum of the two scores. The calculator will do the sums for me. All we have to do is move the cursor so that it's on top of L3, and then we enter second list 1 plus second list 2, and then we hit enter, and it will fill that column with the sum of list 1 plus list 2. And then to get the histogram, we hit second stat plot. Go back to the plot we were working with before. Since our data is now in list 3, we need to change the X list appropriately. And because this might change the way the histogram looks, I'm going to go to zoom stat again. In fact, if you don't go to zoom stat, you won't even see the histogram when you try to hit the graph button. Okay, so there's our graph. One more time, I'm going to go to the window and I'm going to adjust it. Let's see, it's starting at 134. I'm going to start it at 130. And here I'm going to move by 5s. We're going to end at 160. So I just pick cleaner numbers to go in the min and max spaces. And then we graph, and there's our histogram.